Recording fiasco transcripts with good names. 2014 email exchanges. 2014 email exchange sums up 6-year dispute in Jefferson Healthcare recording fiasco.
January 21, 2020 author Matt edit. March 26, 2014 email from Matt Reddy to Marie Dressler board chair and Mike Glenn CEO. Original message from Reddy Matthew sent Wednesday, March 26, 2014 9:21 a.m. To Glenn, Mike, Dressler, Marie. Subject, audio recording public meetings. Dear Mike, I would like for us to work together to avoid any further public confrontations or drawn-out conflicts over the issue of audio recordings of commission public meetings. To best do my job as a hospital commissioner, I require a complete record of our public meetings. I require this complete record to be in my possession the moment our public meetings conclude so that I might immediately review any portion of the meeting events and begin considering next steps. I also need to be able to easily share the complete records of our public meetings with any interested members of the public so that I might ascertain their opinions, ideas, feedback, suggestions, and advice on any aspects of hospital district governance that they are interested in. I am willing to consider not recording the meetings myself if I have an equally reliable solution that will guarantee I walk out of every public meeting of the Hospital Commission with a complete record of the meeting's events. I would like to work with you to find such a solution that is convenient for everyone involved. I believe the simplest solution is that I record the meetings on my personal recording device and immediately provide a copy of the file to administration after the meeting. I could simply walk over to the commission office, plug in my USB cable, and upload the file to a directory on the file server. The file is already dated by the software. The Hospital Information Technology Department keeps backups of all files on the file server. If anyone ever requests one of the audio files from a meeting, then someone could simply copy the file to a thumb drive for the person. The cost of storing hundreds of hours of audio files is negligible. Also, the labor involved with copying a file onto a thumb drive is negligible. Such a process is not complex or costly, which is probably one of the reasons why so many other public governing bodies record audio or video of their public meetings. As you noted, any handwritten notes a hospital commissioner makes during a public meeting is subject to public record standards. Audio recordings are simply a form of note-taking. We may need to refine it, but the policy regarding commissioner note-taking you described is already in place, and as long as I make my recordings available in a timely manner, we appear to be keeping with the policy we already have. I hope this is sufficient to resolve this matter. I believe we would all prefer to be spending our time working to improve our efforts at addressing the healthcare needs of our community. I need an audio recording of our public meetings to do that work. We have another public meeting on 4/16/2014. I would like to record this meeting. Please let me know if my recording the meeting will result in yourself and / or the board chair delaying the meeting progress on the agenda, recessing the meeting, or adjourning the meeting as happened at the 3/19/2014 meeting. I believe all these actions in response to me recording the meeting are unnecessary and unseemly disruptions to board business. Yet, if I know these actions are going to be a response, I will make extra efforts to find interested members of the public who want to record the meetings and can attend the 4/16/2014 meeting. Please understand that many of the people I would ask are working poor and unable to attend though interested, which is another reason I record these meetings. I would like to resolve this matter and move on to our work. Part of my ability to do this work involves making a recording of our meetings, as I believe I am allowed to do now. Can you please let me know by 3 p.m. next Wed 4/2/2014 if we can agree to this? Respectfully, Matthew Reddy. P.S. For your records, I have attached a copy of an opinion by the Washington State Attorney General's Office recording the recording of open meetings of county government. Excerpt from Attorney General's opinion. This document is available online here. Public Meetings Open Public Meetings Act. Counties recording official proceedings. Authority of county to restrict video and / or sound recording of county meetings. A county does not have authority to ban video or sound recording of a meeting required to be open to the public by the Open Public Meetings Act. The county could regulate recording only to the extent necessary to preserve order at the meeting and facilitate public attendance. A county has authority to ban video or sound recording of any lawful executive session of a public meeting. If a meeting is not an open public meeting as defined in RCW 4230, but is required to be an open meeting by some other statute, the extent of the county's authority to restrict recording of such a meeting would depend on the language and the intent of the controlling statute. If a county officer conducts a private meeting as may be defined in law, the county has authority to restrict or prohibit the recording of such meetings. November 30, 1998. The Honorable Randall K. Gaylord, San Juan County Prosecuting Attorney. 350 Court Street, P.O. Box 760, Friday Harbor, WA 98250. Site as AGO 1998 No. 15. Dear Mr. Gaylord, by letter previously acknowledged, you have requested our opinion on the following paraphrase questions. May a county legislative body prohibit an individual from using a video or audio recording device to record a meeting or hearing conducted by county officials? If such recording cannot be prohibited, may the legislative body impose restrictions on the use of such recording devices? Brief answer. A county is subject to the Open Public Meetings Act, which generally requires that meetings of the governing body be open to the public and that no conditions precedent to attendance by the public, except for orderly conduct, may be imposed. Therefore, a county legislative body may not ban the use of recording devices from the open portion of a meeting held pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act. The county legislative body may impose restrictions on the use of recording devices, but only to the extent necessary to preserve the orderly conduct of the meeting. Executive sessions held pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act are not open to the public, and the county legislative body may ban the use of recording devices at executive sessions. The county legislative body may ban the use of recording devices at public meetings that are not subject to the Open Public Meetings Act or to some other state statute that limits county authority. A county legislative authority may ban the use of recording devices to record conversations at private meetings not open to the public. March 26, 2014. Mike Glenn response. Thanks, Matt. I'll defer to Marie on this. I am leaving tomorrow for vacation and will be out of the office until April 8. Thanks. MG. March 27, 2014. Marie Dressler email. From Dressler, Marie. Sent Wednesday, March 26, 2014, 5:34 p.m. To Ready Matthew Glenn, Mike. Subject audio recording public meetings. Hello, Matt. Actually, audio recording of board meetings is a board decision. At the conclusion of our last meeting, we, the board, asked Mike to develop a policy, procedure, and recording methodology to present to the board for our review and consideration. At this time, the board can then discuss and take action, if appropriate. Mike and I participated in a teleconference with council and were made aware of the legal implications to the district related to recording board meetings. If we are going to do this, then we are going to do it correctly. Interestingly, according to council, it is not common for a public hospital district to record its board meetings. Based on this, Matt, it would certainly be best if you chose not to exercise any right you have to record the 4/16 meeting and allow the board the time and space to make a thoughtful and deliberate decision on this issue. Marie Dressler. Board Chair, Matt Reddy email to Marie Dressler. From Reddy, Matthew. Sent Thursday, March 27, 2014, 2:28 p.m. To Dressler, Marie Glenn, Mike. Subject audio recording public meetings. Marie. I appreciate your advice and recommendation that I not record board meetings. I respectfully disagree with your opinion that this is the best course of action. As I said, I do not believe I can best perform my duties as hospital commissioner without a complete record of the meetings. The only relevant legal implications of recording meetings I am aware of is that, if my recording is considered a public record, the hospital district should store it and make it available when requested by the public. My previous letter outlined a simple low-cost process whereby this practice is easily doable. The board is welcome to take as much time as it likes to explore and consider the questions. Does this board want the board meetings audio recorded? And shall this board require the CO to audio record the board meetings? On the other hand, I believe all the commissioners are already firmly entrenched in their individual answers to these questions. I believe dragging out time spent on these predetermined answers is a waste. Nonetheless, if it is the opinion of the majority of the board that it does not want the meetings recorded, this opinion does not prohibit anyone, including myself, from recording the meetings. As the Open Public Meetings Act declares, the people, in delegating authority, do not give their public servants the right to decide what is good for the people to know and what is not good for them to know. I need to know exactly, word for word, what is said during our public meetings. The board does not have the authority to decide what is good for to know and what is not good for to know. In conclusion, though I hear your advice, I will respectfully decline to follow it. I sincerely hope if you wish to spend any more time attempting to persuade me not to record the meetings, you will do so before the meetings begin, and not use up valuable public meeting time for such a discourse. Also, if you intend to use your authority as chair to recess or adjourn the meeting in response to my recording, I hope you will discuss this action with me prior to the meeting so that we can try to avoid any unnecessary and unseemly public showdown. In fact, I am happy to sit with you and the hospital district attorney while you elaborate in detail as to your reasons why you believe it is best that I not record the meetings. Perhaps such a discussion will uncover a reasonable solution for everyone. If you wish to have such a meeting, please let me know and I will be happy to join you. As a final note, will you please forward me the name and contact information for the attorney you and Mike spoke to regarding this issue? I would like to contact the attorney and ask some clarifying questions and receive my answers directly from a legal authority. Sincerely, Matt Reddy. Marie Dressler email to Matt Reddy. Matt, when you, as an elected member of the Hospital District Board, decided that you were going to personally record board meetings as a member of the board, CO Mike Glenn and I, as current board chair, sought advice from the district's council. This was in order to ensure that the district would not be put in legal jeopardy and that we, personally, were not uninformed of our responsibilities. Neither Mike nor I are lawyers, and neither are you, for that matter. Having staff research and formulate a policy and procedure and a methodology to comply with the Public Records Act was what Mike was tasked to do at the end of that meeting. I do think that it is very presumptuous of you to assume that our colleagues are already firmly entrenched in their individual answers to the questions you pose in your note to me. I can only speak for myself, and I am very interested to hear other board members' opinions, have some respectful and lively discussion, and make a decision as a board. Should you choose to personally contact and seek advice from the district's council, I want to make it crystal clear that any such consultation will be solely and totally at your own expense. Council's name is, I have no contact information for him. You state that you appreciate my advice and recommendation that you not record board meetings. What I am telling you is what district's council advised Mike and I, not my personal opinion. Marie. Abide and comply October 14, 2019 Commission meeting. Consultant Karma B. Bruce, are you comfortable with that? Commissioner McComas. Yay. Consultant Karma B. Okay. A formal legal opinion on the recording of board meetings. Is this necessary? Matthew Reddy. Well, we have had a couple incidents regarding a commissioner recording a meeting. And in retrospect, I don't think we handled it correctly. The question should have been, is it in order or out of order for a commissioner to record the meeting on some device? And that should have been just a ruling from the board chair, and then the issue would be done. Consultant Karma B. But since they are recorded now, isn't it a moot point? Matthew Reddy. Unless. Next time a commissioner decides to record a meeting, just Commissioner Kolf. Oh, you're talking about an individual. Matthew Reddy. Yay. We had Commissioner Dressler. On-site or off-site? Matthew Reddy. We had Commissioner Dressler. Off-site? Matthew Reddy. Well, there was on-site and off-site incidents. There were two. The first one that I recorded, and then the one I recorded in Chelon. Consultant Karma B. Does anybody have an issue with Matt records? Matthew Reddy. And there was a third one I recorded where Consultant Karma B. Are meeting on his own personal device. Commissioner Buller Rienstra. Yay, and MRIC Baxis. Matthew Reddy. So it should we just need a ruling from the chair. You say. We do Robert's Rules of Order. Either it's in order or it's out of order. Consultant Karma B. But a legal opinion is something different than a ruling. Matthew Reddy. Well, I would suggest the chair has confidence they're making a legally sound ruling because I think there's legal consequences if you rule incorrectly. CEO Glenn. Well, we looked at this, and you can't stop anybody from Matt or a commissioner as a member of the public can record in a public meeting. But commissioner also is a public official participating in an open public meeting, and that recording is Commissioner Dressler, a public record. CEO Glenn. Yeah, as part needs to become part of the open public record. Commissioner Buller Rienstra. So that means it has to be archived under certain regulations and accessible. CEO Glenn. Yeah, it's the mechanics of that council just basically says if you can avoid all of that, you should, that's why you record your own on your own equipment. But I think the question comes up, but our policy says just regular meetings, doesn't say special meetings. So when we're in Chelon having a meeting when we don't have all that apparatus there, what happens if the commissioner wants to record the meeting? Commissioner Kolf. Or if we have a special meeting with the legislator? CEO Glenn. Yeah. Commissioner Buller Rienstra. And CEO Glenn. So you're saying, Matt, that if the chair says if you're out of order, Matthew Reddy, I'm saying, yeah, we're, CEO Glenn. The commissioner would be cool with that. Matthew Reddy. No, I'm saying thing. You stand by, then things would happen. CEO Glenn. What does that mean? Matthew Reddy. I mean, if it's just like, if there was someone in the audience, and if the chair said you're out of order for recording the meeting, then Commissioner Dressler. But they're not. Matthew Reddy. That then you have to decide. Commissioner Buller Rienstra. They're not. They have a legal right to do that. Matthew Reddy. Okay, well, I agree. So does a commissioner. Commissioner Buller Rienstra. You do have a legal right, but Matthew Reddy. So you can tell you if you have a problem with it. If any board member has a problem with something someone else is doing in the meeting, they can say, I think that's out of order. And the chair gets to rule, is it out of order or not? And then if you say it's out of order, then the board member either obey the order or not. Commissioner Buller Rienstra. Why would you want to go through all that when you know the reason? Why would you want to have the board chair say that when you understand? Consultant Karma B. Well, I would suggest that. Matthew Reddy. Because I wouldn't turn off the recorder. The board ruled out of order. Consultant Karma B. So he just wants to get it on recording. Matthew Reddy. Because Consultant Karma B. So I think, Matthew Reddy, if something's out of order, you have the right to remove the person from the room. I mean, if someone is violating the rules of a meeting in a private property and they're out of order, you can kick them out. Consultant Karma B. So my suggestion to the board chair is don't rule that it's out of order. I would say don't go there. That would create a situation that, and if an individual chooses to record the art, the meetings and effort should be made to turn it into a public archive. Right. Commissioner Buller Rienstra. Then would you have to then submit your recording to us? I mean, don't have to, but we need an archive. CEO Glenn. Yeah, you would. Matthew Reddy. I mean, but Commissioner Buller Rienstra. Matthew Reddy. But I would. CEO Glenn. Yeah, or. Commissioner Buller Rienstra. It's official. CEO Glenn. Or put the organization in jeopardy, legal jeopardy, and that is the craziness of this. And then frankly, I don't know why we need to revisit this at a time when we're talking about eliminating dysfunction from governance, this is. Yay, you have the right. You do. But it creates some complications for the organization you are sworn to abide and comply with. So I don't get this, Matt. But you're right, no one can stop you. If that's what you, and I don't really know where you're going with this. You want us to try to stop you. Consultant Karma B. I think he does. Is that what you're suggesting? CEO Glenn. For what purpose other than Matthew Reddy? I'm pointing out we handled those situations incorrectly. It should have been Commissioner Dressler. How many years ago was this is mute we've had? Matthew Reddy. I mean, one of us could want to record a meeting. I just want to avoid this. Commissioner Buller Rienstra. But you don't. Matthew Reddy. An explosive conflict. Commissioner Buller Rienstra. You keep bringing it up. CEO Glenn. No, it is. Commissioner Buller Rienstra. You started it, CEO Glenn. It's not about the recording. It's about the whole point of this. I think this session. And that is something that I'm on my I don't. I've said what I needed to say about it. Consultant Karma B. So I think if a member of this public body should choose to record something, you have an obligation to try to get to be part of the public record, or the organization is at risk, because there was a member of the organization who recorded something and is not making it available to the public. Because if there was a recording made, it needs to be made available to the public. Would you agree? Matthew Reddy. Of course. I mean, that's it. That's it. And that's what was done in each of the prior recordings. They were given to the hospital. Consultant Karma B. Okay, good. So we're good. So did Commissioner Buller Reenstra. You made copies of them. Commissioner Dressler. So that it be held, I think, 6 or 7 years. Commissioner Buller Reenstra. Why would you make a copy of a meeting that's been recorded? Consultant Karma B. He'd know. He recorded it himself. He did. He made a copy, and he gave it to Commissioner McComas. Yeah, but I think, and this is our job to be comfortable, because I think if he has a copy that's of this other public meeting, even though he made it available, then that still is open to public scrutiny. Access, and if you do it on your phone, and then your phone is open up public access, and everything on your phone now becomes open. Commissioner Dressler. What? Everything on his phone is open to public. Commissioner McComas. If he made the recording on his phone. Commissioner Buller Reenstra. That's true. Commissioner Kolf. And there's a public record request for his recording. Commissioner Dressler. His phone. CEO Glenn. It's just a legal can of worms that can easily be avoided. And then that's the Bradberg technical version of this. And it's mind-boggling that you would choose not to. Matthew Reddy. I believe what we say in these meetings is important. The meetings that I recorded, you were not recording them. Consultant Karma B. So now we are. Matthew Reddy. And there were very huge conflicts during those meetings over that issue. So I just think we should clarify, if that situation ever happens again, let's not have that happen. Let's know what is going to happen. But it's either in order or it's out of order. Commissioner Dressler. But you will say, if I may say so, you said earlier on that whether it was in order or out of order, you were going to ignore the order. Matthew Reddy. Right. Because it's in order. It is in order. You cannot tell someone to turn something off. CEO Glenn. You're playing semantic games. Commissioner McComas. Could I ask a question, Matt? So what would you recommend be written in here to clarify going forward? Matthew Reddy. I just recommend that this board knows what's going to do with the situation or happens again, because it's not we made a mistake. We might have violated a statute. Commissioner Dressler. Which one? Matthew Reddy. Of the Open Meetings Act, by trying to tell someone to turn off the recorder, that I think that might have been a statute violation, and we shouldn't do that. We should know, okay, we don't like it if someone's recording but can't question, harass them about it there. It's just like it's either in order, out of order. Commissioner Dressler. You could have unclear a copy of the recording. CEO Glenn. So here's the issue is, and this whole thing was instigated by showing up at a meeting and turn your recorder. Matthew Reddy. What whole thing? CEO Glenn. Whether we record the meetings or not, because we didn't bother to record them before that. And so we called council and said, what do we do here? It wasn't really the will of the interest of the board to audio tape meetings. That was not the norm with the work that we did when we contacted other public hospital districts. But you said I'm going to record them anyway, and so enforced our hand. So then we put a policy together that said we would record with legal counsel's advice. Here's how you do that. So you can make sure that audio record doesn't face the scrutiny of some members of our community who, from time to time, look at the metadata of if you question Alyssa about the authenticity of the recordings. And here's the process, here's the mechanics, here's the machinery, and we'll do that for regular meetings, knowing that when 3 commissioners are meeting in a legislator's office, that's a special meeting. And now we just do that. What you're talking about is when we have special meetings. And sometimes those special meetings include other representatives of boards that don't audio record their meetings. And sometimes those special meetings are, and in places where it may or may not be conducive to record. And I think you're asking us to react to that, when certainly it's my preference that we follow the policy, which records regular meetings. We don't, and then therefore, commissioners don't record on their own private special meetings. And we just avoid all of this. I think the question, or the why of the road when you do this, I think this is actually what happened, is that we just decided not to meet, that your commissioner colleagues were so uncomfortable with that, and I probably had less to do with the issue, more to do with maybe other stuff around the issue, unclear, and that just seemed silly to me. Matthew Reddy. I don't see how to want to. I would not take a position that wields power if people are not accountable for what they say in the room. And I do not feel, talk about trust, what increases trust is having an account but what people said, because if you can't, we have so much trouble trusting each other on a basic level, think we trust each other to remember accurately a 3-hour conversation. That's insane. It's completely absurd that this board could function without an accurate record of what we say. I realize that after 2 months on the board, all I care about is that we have efficient meetings. When we talk about something, and we agreed to it at the next meeting, we remember we agreed to it, and we don't have to revisit the issue. I mean, that's all a recording does for you. I don't know why we don't record off-site meetings, except for the ones that other people would want to, if it prevents us from meeting with legislators, that's totally fine. We're not going to. And that's why I never insisted that we record everything, because then we wouldn't be able to serve our community, wouldn't be able to meet with some people. Commissioner Buller Rienstra. And that's the case with when we were meeting with other organizations that don't record theirs and are not comfortable with that. Matthew Reddy. And I never insisted me record those. Some people might, but consultant Karma B. So, I think we should move on from this issue. I think it's the general opinion that there isn't a need for a formal legal opinion. And as your governance consultant, my recommendation is don't rule that out of order if it should come up, because it would not be proper. Should we take a 10-minute break and then come back? We do have time in the afternoon, so we're off our agenda, but it's okay. We'll still get where we need to go. Commissioner Kolf. Since we're following the board book, we might as well restart the meeting. 2019 Independent Discussions with Attorneys. Matt Reddy writes, soon after John French came on board to Jefferson Healthcare as general counsel, I requested a meeting with him. I did not know if John knew anything about the recording controversy and issue. I explained to him I had concerns that one Brad Berg may have committed malpractice if he truly gave Marie and Mike advice that encouraged them to try to force me to not record open public meetings in the manner they did in 2014 and 2016. I also said, too, I want to record meetings in the future, and I do not want more huge public confrontations. I think if the board is given clear, sound legal advice, then we should be able to avoid this. 3. I said I was concerned the law was broken when the people attempted to force me to stop recording. I said it might be a civil rights violation or a violation of the Open Public Meetings Act. I said I was concerned they would repeat these exact same violations as soon as I start recording another meeting, and I don't want to feel obligated to report anyone for these silly offenses. 4. I gave John a copy of the book I published with transcripts of the 2014 and 2016 incidents. At the end of the meeting, John said, give me 2 weeks to look into this. After 2 weeks, I heard nothing back from John or anyone on this matter. John French not speaking with me ever again and seeming to pretend the conversation never happened caused me to begin to lose faith in John French as a lawyer who took his oath of office seriously, as I as a commissioner had reported concerns of legal violations, and he apparently was obeying someone to simply ignore me forever without a single word. After realizing John French was not going to do anything as a lawyer in response to my questions, I then emailed Brad Berg requisitioned a copy of any legal opinions he had ever made for Jefferson Healthcare related to a commissioner recording a meeting. He replied that I would have to ask the CEO about that. This began to raise my suspicions that the CEO was in possession of at least one written legal opinion on this matter. I then emailed another lawyer at a different firm that represented the hospital and asked if they would meet with me to discuss legal questions and concerns I had related to the hospital. They replied they would not do that, and I needed to go through the CEO. I would have to research that before our next meeting. I need some time to look into that. December 18, 2019 Commission Meeting. Commissioner Buller Rienstra. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Jefferson County Public Hospital District No. 2 Board of Commissioners Special Session Meeting on Wednesday, December 18, 2019. This is being officially audio recorded, and time shown on the agenda are estimates only. We have 2 separate portions of the meeting. As usual, we have the first, which is the occasion topic, which is a review of the board book and board catalog that will go from 2 o'clock until 245. We will recess and then come back at 3 o'clock with our business section. The meeting we expect to conclude around 4:30. There will be an executive session at the end of this meeting prior to the end of it. So at this time, we will go ahead into the education topic to review board's look in the board calendar. So we do have all commissioners present with the exception of Commissioner Kolf, who we do expect to be here at some point. Right, shall we begin with some more book note? To get 2 copies is brand new. One is the completed one was with everything accepted as it is written, and the other is one with red marks, and it show what the differences are in the old board. So if you remember, this is the one that we went over with Karma. And she and her staff incorporated these suggestions that we had made at our retreat, October 14, into this document. So at this time, we can review it and see what the board thinks. So I think the easiest thing would be to do those audits with the tracking changes. And so do you all have bad credit? Yes. So the first one is on page 1, the mission. So I just updated it to our new missions. Isn't it our new mission statement that we have already ordered? Sorry, approve this. So this is just, Commissioner Dressler, our edification. So with each item do you want us to a consensus plan, or just there's a disagreement or challenge or discussion? Commissioner Buller Rienstra. I think so, Commissioner Dressler. With each one, Commissioner Buller Rienstra. Will be the easiest way unless, or we can just if there's a motion for somebody wants to assess its entirety, we can do that as well.